Mi gente, it's your girl here. I hope all is well. Trying to put some smiles on y'all faces. What's up? How's everybody doing? Well, seems like I'm the only one that's smiling. Okay, maybe not. If you know, you know. If you know, I know you smiling. But there's a lot of people out here today. There's a lot of sad faces. And I'm gonna be honest with you, being that I have been healing and awakening and speaking consciousness to a lot of folks. I'm not really sure if what I'm actually witnessing is merely the fact that a lot of other folks are starting to become aware of their surrounding, or maybe they too are mentally, their worlds are being disrupted. Because I remember in my first beginning of my journey, when I was being disrupted in the lifestyle that I was living, and in the lifestyle that the changes that I was accepting, you become a little distant. You become, your body hurts. You're very easily susceptible for headaches, for body aches. All you want is change. You don't want to continue doing what you've been doing. And you feel that change is going to be the change that's going to be the answer to everything, right? But let me tell you something. There was a rude awakening. And that rude awakening wasn't really that rude for me, but it might be rude for a lot of people when it says, you can go ahead and change, but you gotta remember, in order for you to become better than what you are and what you have been and who you are, you have to evolve and make better decisions. So I learned that instead of me requesting my atmosphere to change, I took full responsibility in me changing. So no matter what atmosphere I'm in, I can adapt. And it's not adapting, accepting, because I don't accept low vibrational energy. I don't accept to be treated a certain way. However, my standards came up high because I learned, I evolved through the change. And I realized that at the end of the day, no matter where you are, if you have not evolved, it doesn't matter. Because the same problems you're having here is the same problems you're going to have somewhere else. You'll just be older. So if you're seeking change because your reality just doesn't provide happiness for you anymore, you're going to learn, I command that you learn to go within. I know I'm not trying to send you to church for you to learn this. I'm really trying to get you to understand that awakening comes to everybody. It's not just something that I go through. It's not just something that wizards go through or gurus go through or someone who has mastered, themselves. We're not the only ones that go through this. Awakening and being conscious and becoming aware of what no longer serves you comes to everybody. And in those true moments, when it becomes uncomfortable, is when you need to understand what in the scenario is uncomfortable. What's uncomfortable? Because the only thing that makes you unhappy is because things are not going your way. I'm going to say it again. The only thing that makes you unhappy is when things are not going your way. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of us, and I include myself in this. There's a lot of us adults that have made a great life for ourselves, where we don't need an outside person to spoil us. We can do that on our own. But if you understand the magic word that I just told you, spoil, you probably might have rotten yourself and you don't even know. And this has everything to do with self-love. Self first, because you're not trying to rotten yourself. Because when you come across a scenario that you need to rise above, you must learn to rise above in love, in kindness, in compassion, with empathy. But see, you don't hear me though, because you think that this is a form of weakness. Because those adults that have learned to spoil themselves, they have done it on many different levels. You know, some have done it out of the form of survival of the fittest. Some have done it in a form of, I don't care who I gotta take out, I'm going to get it. As if I'm not speaking truth here. So, if you're going to learn something out of your change, make sure that when you learn something out of being a changed person, that you evolve. You know, like you rise up like the phoenix, like the eagle, how they say. You rise above the fire with love for self. Because through that consistent love for self, you will fill up your cup so much that it will overflow. That's what they mean by that. Fill up your cup so that it overfloweth. And when your cup is overflowing, the love that is immersed is just coming off of you. You're doing it without even trying. For those that know, know. For those that know. I'm speaking to a lot of folks right now because a lot of adults think that they are adults. I know. I did too. Until I realized the real energy of love, what it entails. Don't let yourself down trying to appease someone else. Don't be that nicey person. And I don't mean that by saying be mean to someone else, because on the contrary, I'm trying to talk you out of being mean to other people. You know, survival of the fittest, survival of the fittest. I just said that, right? Getting it done however you got to do and take whoever out. That's my purpose of trying to get you to stop doing that. Stop thinking that way. Listen, I'm sure I've made my point. You don't need to hear anymore. There's a lot of changes going on right now. And it ain't just the new street lines and the new street signs. It ain't just that. It's within you. If you don't like what your life is like right now, it's because you're not getting what you want. I'm gonna need you to learn how to deal with the deck that you've been given and wake up every single day in happiness. Why? Because you're here. Let's start with that. You can breathe. Let's start with that. Like, are you really, what we doing here? Are you learning to be grateful? Or you just being a spoiled brat? Which one is it? Because you can't have both. We need results right now, not excuses. We need love for self, not spoiled adults. Okay? I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but I'm sure, again, I made my message and I made it very clear. And this is me not judging you. This is me understanding what you're going through because I had to go through it. That's why I can speak on this topic so well. This is exactly why I created Self-Love, Self-First, because I had to go through it. I went through it. I didn't tell anybody about it. I dealt with it and I evolved. There's places that I used to be that I no longer am interested in being there anymore. I don't fit there anymore because my vibration is way too high. A lot of people won't be able to handle my light. And I know that. And I don't say that to toot. I say that because I worked for this. I put in days, months, years upon years on this type of energy. And I've been consistent and disciplined to self. Learning at every level, piling up, creating the divine version of myself that is not judgmental, on the contrary. Because there's a lot of folks around me who can't appreciate who I am. But I tell you one thing, when I'm not around you, you'll understand my reasons and my message. It's okay. Maybe it's time for me to get out of the atmospheres that I'm in. And I'm okay with that. Because no matter where I go, I will survive. And that's the same way that you need to be. No matter where you go, you will survive. However, it's not about being survival mode. It's about you evolving, so no matter where you go, those issues that you've had before no longer exist, because you better learn and you have learned how to deal with them a lot better than you did before. So if we were to say, take out a stress scale, nothing that stresses you today should stress you later on, because you have self-loved, self-first, and you've evolved. You haven't changed. You've evolved. And there's a difference. You'll thank me later. Blessings to you all. Did I whoop somebody's ass? You probably needed that. You know why? Because ain't no one else gonna tell you the truth. Okay? I love you. Why? Because I love myself. Be easy, y'all. Ciao. Self-love, self-first at all times.